Hi, this is Eric Leduc, and we're in Chapter 10 in our Management Essentials class, and we're talking about teamwork. And this is one of my favorite chapters, honestly. These are some of the learning outcomes. What are the good and bads of using teams? What are the different kinds of teams? What are the characteristics of teamwork, and how do we make teamwork more effective? How do we manage teams? And teams are really important. We know that the effectiveness of projects go up. I think the figure is 91%. So when we're looking at being more effective, working on teams is one of the ways that we can be more effective. Employees and managing teams is something that's important to all managers. In fact, once you learn how to manage a small team, the idea is that you can grow and learn how to manage two small teams or a larger team. And now that's kind of how you grow in management. It's by putting together good working teams and growing your capability in managing bigger and more extensive networks of teams. Okay, advantages of working with teams. There's customer satisfaction, product and service quality, and then product development and speed and efficiency. So those first three bullets, the chapter doesn't really go into explaining why those are important. But I think I understand, and I'm going to propose this to you. We know that employees that are happier work better. And we also know that employees that work on teams, or most employees that work on teams, have better job satisfaction, which to me would say they're happier. So when we look at happy employees, if we can put them in a situation in which they'll be happier, we should have customer satisfaction increases. We should have improved quality of our services or our product, and we should be able to do things faster, right? That's part of that happiness project that I have you guys working on. So we're going to go into, I guess here, some of the things that improve the happiness level of our employees. One is this idea of cross-training, and we talked about this in the last chapter, right? Cross-training means that I know how to do my job, and now you're teaching me how to do your job. In case you're gone on vacation, then I can help and step in and do whatever you're doing, so that doesn't get dropped, right? That's kind of enlarging the scope of my responsibilities and my ability, so there's a sense of improvement and growth that way. So cross-training does improve employee satisfaction, job satisfaction. We also have information sharing. Usually when you're working on teams, you have access to more information, not just the information that's given to the team, but we usually have a cross-functional team, meaning that we have employees from different areas of the business, and they have different information that they're getting from their managers, and we share that information, and so we have a better understanding of the big picture. We get leadership opportunities. Again, this is part of growth expansion, and we also have some group decision making, which takes a lot of pressure off the individual. And when I'm working on a team, I mean, you can think about it, if you work alone versus working on a team, when I'm working alone, I have this direct relationship. I make a product and I give it to my manager. When I'm working on a team, we make a project, we check each other, we have each other's backs, and then we give it to the manager. The stress actually gets lowered. And the lower my stress, the more able I am to think creatively, like Dan Pink says in his video, and the better my decisions are, so the more confident I am in those decisions. There's a couple things I want to point out. So when I read this chapter, I was taking notes. Who does better in schools, especially business schools? When I went to business school, I studied in groups. I had a study group that I worked with, even though they might be, I specialize in supply chain management. They might be specialized in marketing, but we'd still study together. When we're studying together for the same class, very convenient. But even if we're studying for different classes, you have your friends there, you can bounce ideas off of them, and they can tell you if it's good or not. Kind of like that idea, the video, where great ideas come from. a coffee shop mentality. You're here with a supporting group that you can talk to and work together with. I think all those are important in the advantages of using teams. In the better decision making, one of the things that working in a team does is help you define the problem better. A lot of times we'll get customers saying, hey, I'm upset about my customer service or this product, and really we're just hearing a symptom. And when we can get together in a team and talk about it, it's easier to get to the root of the problem so we can solve the problem and not just address the system. Usually with teams we have more alternatives. One of the ways we manage teams is to encourage giving like maybe at least 5 alternatives to any given problem. If I was just asking you individually to do that, it might be a lot harder than in a group where we can all put together our ideas. And then when we come finally to the end problem or the decision, we make a decision, we get a commitment from the whole group, right? And so that commitment helps whoever is in the group actually work towards that decision or that goal that we're making. So these are all the advantages. I've taken up 6 minutes talking about advantages of teams, but there are a lot of great advantages of working in a team. And one of the most important is we're happier. When I was a consultant, one of the best things about being a consultant, especially when I'm doing IT consulting, is you have a team of people that you're working shoulder to shoulder with. You're not in cubes. You come into an office and you're all working together and trying to solve a problem for whatever company that you're consulting with. And that teamwork and that camaraderie and that sense of group is really appealing. All right, let's. Oh yeah, and it goes on. Well, we'll go on. So some of the disadvantages. When we're developing a group or a team, there's some initial high turnover. You might think of team building like one of the most core teams that you might think of in our society is the family relationship, whatever that looks like. Your significant other relationship, that's a team. And as you're trying to figure out who's that significant, unless you're polyamorous, you might have a lot of significance. But usually the majority have just one significant person that they're wanting to team up with. And you have a lot of turnover until you find that team member that you want to work with. All right. Social loafing means that some members of the team might not be contributing as much as we think they should. Now, the book doesn't really get into this as much as I would like to get into it. I've been on teams where I'm coming in as an advisor. So I have a lot of other projects I'm doing, but they're saying, hey, he is really knowledgeable about X. And we're going to be using X as we work on this project. Let's bring Eric in to be our team member. Now, I know I'm coming in as an advisor. That means I'm not going to be putting in a lot of hands-on work. But as the work is getting done, if I see them going astray, I'll say, no, if you do it that way, it'll cause these problems. Or it'll be much easier, or the system can help you make it more efficient if you take another path. Now, other people on the team that are doing a lot of work on the team might look at me and say, oh, he's loafing. Well, no, I'm not loafing. I just have a different role within the team. So when we say social loafing, and even in the significant other relationship, when my wife or my significant other is working, I have a tendency to want to get up and work because we're a team. Even though I've worked all day and maybe she's been reading a book all day, she gets up and starts doing dishes. I probably ought to get up and clear the table or sweep or do something like that. So this concept or this, she won't start thinking I'm loafing, right? Because when we want team unity, we want to know everyone's doing their share. So one of the important things that we do when we form a team is we line up responsibilities. You're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this. And if everyone's 100% dedicated to the team, then if I have my stuff done and you still have stuff to do and I can help you, then I need to help you. But if we're not all 100% dedicated to the team, that might mean that when I get my stuff done, I have other things on other teams that I have to do. So we have to manage social loafing in two ways. We have to make sure everyone's pulling their weight, and that if it looks like somebody's not pulling their weight, we need to address that, either in helping them pull their weight or explain to everyone else why they are pulling their weight, even though they seem like they're not. Okay, two more things, and we're going to end this video and then go to part two. Wow. Groupthink. You need to know the definition of groupthink. It's this phenomenon that happens that when we get into a group, we want to be agreeable with each other. And that's not always the best thing. It undermines our ability to make good decisions, to find good alternatives, to really get to the root of the problem. Instead of being agreeable, we need to think critically and sometimes speak critically, or like challenge people, but challenge people in a rational way, not in a way that, so in the C-type conflict, the rational type conflict, instead of the emotional conflict. Another problem we have is this idea of minority domination. If you're on a team and the CEO walks in and he sits down and he's going to be on the team now, one of the problems is we all kind of defer to the CEO for his words of wisdom or her words of wisdom, when they might be as clueless as everyone else, and they might give us wrong input. And then we're not, because of their power or their position, we're not as ready to do that rational conflict, that C-type conflict, and challenge them, and we're more likely to go into groupthink mode. And so you might have one or two people in higher positions that really dominate the group and actually lessen its effectiveness. Okay, so that's it for part one. We only got through really 2 slides, so hopefully it'll go faster later.